At what point, I guess, was the decision made to kind of close the series out? Because you'd been going strong for a while. Everyone had always kind of said, we can do these every year as long as we keep the story relevant, we keep it going. But at what point did you kind of say, like, I think now is the time to wrap it up, kind of cap it off, put a nice bow on it?
Well, I was really, and luckily it wasn't a big disagreement with the studio. They were on board with this. None of us wanted to do what most horror franchises do, which is basically stop when they stop making money, so grind them into the ground, and then, so we made a proactive decision, and I think even when we were in 3 or 4, we always thought that we would decide to end it before whatever the last movie was, as opposed to afterwards.
Okay.
And I feel like there was a general feeling after we'd done the fifth, depending on how you count, 4th or 5th movie, that there was, we had teased too many times. Like, I just felt the audience felt like, you know what, we want answers now. Enough with the posing more questions. And so before we started writing the movie, we decided to make this the last one in the series, which I don't think has really ever happened in a scary movie franchise. I think the decision is always post the release, not pre.
Yeah, usually it's no one's going to see these anymore.
So we're going to stop making them. Yeah, which I think really dampens the effect of the whole thing. I mean, I wanted Paranormal Activity to kind of remain kind of culturally exciting, and I think if we had really just waited till the movies been a whole bunch of DVD sequels, it takes away from the fun of what the franchise was.
Well, with the marked ones and also Ghost mentioned, there were some delays, some pushbacks as far as the scheduling, when the films were going to be released, kind of shifted away from just the annual October releases. Was some of that factored into, I guess, making sure you had the right story, kind of figuring out the direction you were going to go, and figuring out how we were going to answer all these questions?
Yeah, I'm squinting because I'm trying to really remember why we stopped doing it every year. But I actually think it was more less romantic answer than that. I think the schedule was after the 4th movie, I guess, which was the last movie that we did annually. The schedule was all mixed up in Halloween. There was too much competition, so we decided to release it at another time. And as soon as you took the gas off the creative process, like when you had that date that you were chasing, it pushed everyone to work as quickly as soon as we didn't have a date, everyone relaxed a little bit, and so that's why the movies got slower after Paranormal Activity 4.
In this film, you have you kind of break a little from formula. Not that the films are formulaic, but we've gotten used to found footage, handheld cameras, kind of seeing the mystery, I guess, of what we're seeing. Here, the decision is made to kind of show what we're seeing, show the paranormal activity, show the spirits, show the demons, show whatever it is.
In 3D. Show it in 3D.
And so now we're getting into spirit photography, ghost photography. At what point was the collective decision made that we need to try and do something a little differently, or was it like we need to try and do something differently, or this just makes sense to kind of take it in a little direction when we get to the end?
It was more the second thing you said. We actually thought about doing Paranormal 2 in 3D, and we talked about doing everyone in 3D, but it didn't make any storytelling sense. And when I think the reason that this one wound up in 3D is the 3D is totally organic to the story of this movie, which is that there's a camera that you can only see the ghosts on through in the ghost dimension. So the 3D organically tied into the story we were trying to tell. That's how it came together. But actually, we talked about doing them in 3D almost every time. But then there would be no reason to do it, so we didn't.
Why do you think, I guess, that there's been kind of this over-reliance on kind of this horror subgenre? And do you find it difficult to move into what seems like a kind of a crowded field now?
What is the subgenre you're talking about? Exorcism or haunted house?
Well, I mean,
there's two different genres.
They are, but now it seems like we've started to mesh them together. The Exorcism haunted house movie. Yes, where like the only way to get rid of the haunted house is to somehow exorcise some type of demon that is inhabiting the haunted house.
Well, you're asking two different questions. The haunted house is the scariest place you feel most safe is your home, and particularly your bedroom. So when you're threatened in that space, there's nothing scarier than that. So for that's where the best scary movies generally are. That's where they take place. So I think it's almost like saying, to say haunted house and scary movie, for me it's the same, almost the same things. 90% of scary movies take place in your house, because that's where you feel vulnerable. Exorcism, there's definitely more of a supernatural too, is like more of a trend. The Paranormal Activity, I feel like it was supernatural for a while, then it got very real with Saw, and then it went back to supernatural with Paranormal Activity. I'm sure it's going to swing back. So in terms of that, I feel like I do want to push new things. With The Purge, is a very different kind of scary movie. So we're trying with other movies, but I do want to kind of start experimenting outside of supernatural exorcism for sure.
I saw that you tweeted about meeting with Marilyn Manson.
I did. I met him yesterday.
Can you tell me what any of that was about? Or
yeah, I can. I was a little nervous when I tweeted that, because I was like, is he going to be pissed that I did that? But anyway, he was very cool about it. He hadn't seen it when I met him, but I told him that I said I was going to meet him, and I said, what should we discuss? He loves scary stuff. We've actually been texting back photographs this morning, which has actually been kind of fun, which I really wish I could tweet them, but I don't think I can. And he loves scary, weird stuff. And we had a great meeting about him acting in things that we do, or writing, directing. So hopefully we'll find some. We were definitely kindred spirits. He was awesome and very funny, actually.
You started out just doing horror films. Obviously, the first paranormal film was kind of where you cut your teeth and made your name. And as of now, you've kind of diversified and created a brand. We've gone from movies to television to books.
Haunted houses.
To haunted house.
We're
the
doing
website
a haunted house
now.
in Chile right now.
You have the website as well. Was that kind of the plan when you started this?
No, it was not part of the plan. But as there are little things that this interview is probably not the right place for that happen to make the whole thing come together. But what I guess is the plan is that I've found through Blumhouse that I really love storytelling, and I really love kind of doing it in weird, odd ways. I really love particularly inexpensive storytelling, because I think when you take the financial risk out, you can take chances and do weird things, like the Gem and the Holograms movie, for instance. And so I love doing that, and I found that I really enjoy what you're saying. I love that we have these different ways to scare people in all these different media, but it was not part of the original plan, although I'm happy it's working out that way.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure.
Okay.